WTLA North Syracuse, WSGO Oswego, W249BC Mattydale, W261AC Oswego, WTKWHD2 Bridgeport, ESPN Radio. This is the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, highlighting all of Section 3, interviewing the greatest local coaches and athletes. Brought to you by SummitCars.com, broadcasting in the ESPN studios. Here's your host, Mike Bristol, and Eagle Newspapers, Phil Blackwell.
All right, here we are on the Inside High School Sports Show. Phil, what's going on, buddy?
Well, we're finally in towards the end of fall sports, too, and we can smell spring in the air. I mean, we had so many warm temperatures. I went golfing on Wednesday, so that felt good. And we have our first the spring sports practices begin on Monday, and we're going to have baseball games and lacrosse games by the end of April. So we're finally starting to cycle back towards where we should have been 13 months ago. We're getting there, slowly but surely.
Billy B. Well, here's what's going on here. Our SummitCars.com spotlight interview, members of Christian Brothers Academy Girls Swim Team. And we're going to talk to Liz Tucker-Schultz, regardless, really, of whether it's a fall season or a spring season. The Christian Brothers Academy Girls Swim Team continues to thrive. So we'll talk about that. Phil, why don't you elaborate a little bit on that for me?
Well, the CBA swim team has had an undefeated season so far this year, and they have a terrific group of swimmers, and it's a really neat mix of swimmers. They have the senior stars, Darian Tompkins and Lauren Kelly, but they also have some terrific young swimmers like Kayla Newman, who's just a sophomore. And we'll be talking to all of these swimmers in the course of the program. And they've been managing to put some of the best times in Section 3 this season. And the way their schedules worked out, their two biggest meets just happened to be next week at the end. They face the undefeated Mexico team we talked to a couple of weeks ago, and the undefeated Fayetteville Manlius team, who is a much deeper roster, but maybe they don't have some of the times at CBA. So it'll be fascinating to see how they approach these meets, given that they're going to be the toughest meets of the season for CBA. And it's a terrific mix of veteran swimmers and very young and very talented swimmers.
We've got, after that, our Aflac Insurance Spotlight interview, Baldwin's baseball coach, Dave Penafeather. And this Monday, along 22-plus months since they last took the field, spring sports teams in Central New York finally returned, getting us set for the 2021 season that starts by month's end. That includes baseball teams like Baldwinsville, who won a state Class AA championship in 2013 and has sent a steady stream of top players to the college and professional ranks with high expectations and actual sectional championship to go after. So we'll talk with the Bees head coach, Dave Penafeather. He's going to join us here in a few minutes, and we'll talk a little baseball, which I love talking baseball.
Well, I think that of all the athletes that have been eager to see sports return, I think spring sports athletes in general are the most because they lost the entire 2020 season. No practices, no games, nothing. Now they finally not just get a season, but one that has a sectional playoffs at the end. But in terms of baseball, I'm sure Baldwinsville baseball is very eager to get going. When we last saw them play, it was in June 2019 when they were a favorite in the sectional championship game but lost to a very upstart Fayetteville Manlius team. Needless to say, they've been waiting, all of them, to get going again. And Baldwinsville will certainly be a favorite this season. And they tend to have prospects, as we know about people like Jason Stavakul, who's now doing a very good job as a freshman at the University of Maryland.
We're also going to talk with Erin Engelhardt from LeMoyne College's Dolphin Athletic Association, and we'll talk a little bit about that through the Tuscarora portion of our program, their upcoming golf tournament, and the association there over at LeMoyne. They do a terrific job. We'll also talk to Paul Brown, Nagle Athletic Turf Services, and talk about all the amazing fields and stuff these guys are doing in the local area. Of course, I've got Phil in the program who produces the top 10 each and every week. You can check that out at InsideHighSchoolSports.com. Phil also does the weekly awards, and that as well as at InsideHighSchoolSports.com. And I think Jordan, our producer, takes those awards, and I think he's, put some somewheres. Hopefully he's doing something with them on social media. Jordan, hopefully you're doing that. You're a good man. All right, top 10. Last weekend's slate of football games brought us both dramatic finishes and no small amount of controversy. The drama came when arch rivals Whitesboro and New Hartford, both 2-0, but in different classes in recent years, went head-to-head. That was last Saturday, went back and forth in regulation, ultimate going to overtime, 21-21. Once in OT, the Spartans scored, but the Warriors answered and going for two. Got it when Jeff Cabino found the end zone to give Whitesboro a 29-28 win Wow, Phil, what a game that was.
Yeah, New Hartford was one of the rivalry games that was able to take place this season. In recent years, those two teams have been in separate classes. Whitesboro's always been in Class A, but New Hartford moved down to Class B. So these teams never got to face each other here the way they did in just about every other sport. So the fact that they faced each other, the fact that this was such a terrific back-and-forth game that went to overtime, that it involved a two-point conversion, spoke to the quality of both teams this season. And Whitesboro is one of three really strong Class A teams, I think, this season that we've seen. Them, along with Indian River up north, who have been dominant in their games, and East Syracuse and Noah, who've won both of their games, takes on, and ESM's going to have three more. I know they had a COVID pause. ESM's going to play 3 games before month's end. In fact, ESM and Whitesboro are facing each other this afternoon, and ESM has 2 more games scheduled after that. So those top teams in Class A have shown themselves to be quite good.
Phil, is your wife impressed with your on-air abilities and your star power here in the local Syracuse area?
Sometimes.
Also impressive was VVS, like Phil Blackwell, taking out Camden 41-7 to move to 3-0. Holland Patton rounding Rome Free Academy 50-12 for its 3rd straight victory. PSLA Fowler having its best season in decades, going to North to defeat Sandy Creek 27-13. They're moving to 3-0 here with games left against Mexico and Phoenix.
In fact, Mexico was also a team that was undefeated. These are 2 of the independent teams. And they both were off to 3-0 starts, and they faced each other on Thursday night. And it was Mexico prevailing 53-28, getting 3 touchdowns in the first half, including an interception return from their top player, Hunter Lasinski. And by doing so, Mexico, they've had so many good teams this season. Mexico had an undefeated girls basketball team. They've had an undefeated girls swim team, and an undefeated girls swim team, and an undefeated football team. So what a winter and early spring from Mexico this year.
All around. Here, continuing on the top 10, we've got the 18th-month wait for Cicero North Syracuse Liverpool to meet again in football. Led to an emotional game that proved too much to handle. The North Stars won 21-0, but it got overshadowed by a bad injury to Warriors quarterback Brendan Mancuso on a rash of penalties that forced the game to stop early in the 4th quarter to prevent further antagonism. So, Phil, that's not good.
No, but the irony of it all is that Liverpool is still playing and TNS isn't. The North Stars had their 2 remaining games canceled. Whether it was COVID outbreaks in other places, they were supposed to play, I think, Corcoran and Corning, in fact, and those games are not going to happen. But Liverpool was able to return last night with a new lineup, led by Malachi Upshur scoring 4 touchdowns. The Warriors beat Penafeather 30-14, and they're going to make up the game they lost to Baldwinsville, or they were supposed to have with Baldwinsville late in March. They're going to face each other next Thursday to close the season. And I also want to mention West Tennessee's had a pretty good season in football. The Wildcats only lost was like a 1-point game. I think it was the only loss was to Auburn, who, by the way, is another one of those strong Class A teams. Auburn's having a fantastic season. But West Tennessee's 4-1 after they beat Rome Free Academy 42-6 last night. The Wildcats, they're going to end up playing 6 games this season. They're going to manage to get through without pauses or delays, and they'll finish their season with Central Square next Thursday.
All right, meanwhile, Baldwinsville returned from its COVID pause to blank Corcoran 20-0. We'll make up the post-game with Liverpool April 20th to close the season for both sides. Auburn 3-0 was blanking Central Square 42-0. West Jenny moved to 3-1 by handling Fulton 33-12, and CBA, after back-to-back overtime defeats, won big twice, including 63-0 over Jamesville DeWitt. Also, no football game this fall might top what happened last Thursday between Watertown and Beaver River. Regulation was enough, nor was 3 overtime periods where both teams scored. Only in the 4th overtime, and Phil, why don't you take this one, because what happened in the 4th overtime?
Finally, Watertown was able to win this game. It was just one of those ridiculous things where, they both scored in all 3 of the overtime periods and both converted in all the overtimes. And only in the 4th overtime did Watertown pull it out on a touchdown by Deontay Hall.
How about Deontay? Had 6 TDs. 6
touchdowns, 223 yards rushing, and he had a teammate rush for 100 yards as well. Well, Beaver Rivers, Sam Bush, we're not going to forget him. He had 291 passing yards and 6 touchdown passes. Zacchaeus Lacombe and Noah Zaire both throwing for more than 100 yards. So, yeah, there are a lot of gaudy statistics in this game. And I don't know if you'll ever see a 4-overtime game again, where both teams scored in the OT, both teams scored in the second OT but missed conversions, both scored in the third OT and got conversions, and then finally someone played defense. But anyway, a very memorable game.
No question about it. Meanwhile, let's talk about Section C here. Champion Lowville playing 4 times this spring. I've already beaten Watertown 48-36, South Jefferson 46-20, with Aiden McCauley passing and running for 336 total yards. The Red Raiders will meet another traditional North Country power, General Brown. That happened yesterday. We'll talk about that. And also, they have their own game with Beaver River. That's the 21st to close out the spring slate.
Well, I'll tell you this. This might have been the most surprising single-game result we've seen all season. Maybe not that General Brown beat Lowville, because General Brown has a great, great football history, but that they beat them 48-0. They did it with a ton of great defense, obviously. They just forced a rash of Lowville turnovers and turned them into points, scoring in every single quarter, 20 points in the fourth quarter to close it out. There was a kick return for a touchdown by Seamus Devine. There was a couple of touchdowns scored by Nathan Heller. And General Brown was only a 1-2 team going into this game. So it kind of came out of nowhere. But it has to be a satisfying victory for General Brown. And they've won a lot of games over the course of the last couple of decades. But to knock off Lowville like that, maybe the most impressive victory anyone has pulled off in Section 3 football in this weird abbreviated season.
Once again this week, we were treated to a girls' volleyball classic between Tully and Lafayette, who made it special. As mentioned before, their typical seasons do not happen at the same time. The Black Knights in winter, Lancers in the fall, so their 2 meetings this spring were special. Tully won the first meeting in 4 sets, March 24th, but in Monday's rematch, Lafayette, after closing the first 2 sets, 25-22, won the next 2 sets, 25-22 and 25-10, threatening to give the Black Knights a blemish, but Tully won that final set 25-17. Alexa Shea, 40 assists, Julia Dietz, 37 digs, Emma Byrne, 18 kills, and Keegan Usherwood, 14 kills, 13 digs. Also, Tully had to go, was beat Chittenango and Faith Heritage late in the week to complete a perfect 11-0 season. Congratulations.
And
what is you?
Yeah, well, and they did so, Tully, finishing 11-0. And by the way, your alma mater, Marcellus, also finished the perfect 10-0 season in the most dramatic way possible on Friday. They had a rematch with West Hill, the team they beat 10 days or 11 days earlier. That was that end of West Hill's 44-match win streak. West Hill won the first 2 sets, but somehow Marcellus made it all up and won the next 3 to prevail in 5 sets and complete a 10-0 season. They had a terrific balanced front line. Jenna Madison had like 45 assists. But what a season for Marcellus to bring themselves back into volleyball prominence and to do it in the most dramatic way possible. West Hill swept just about every other opponent they faced, but Marcellus beat them twice in 5 sets apiece. By the way, another team that was undefeated this week, Jordan Salve, kept themselves undefeated with a bunch of wins, and Jordan Alvarez was undefeated before a 5-set defeat to a very strong team from Phoenix, who's having a nice season as well.
Wow. All right, area boys volleyball. Everyone chases Cicero North Syracuse despite the fine seasons put up by Liverpool in favor of Manly. As the North Stars have dropped just 1 set against both of them, sweeping the Hornets twice, as it still had 1 more match left against the Warriors next week. Liverpool and FM went head-to-head for the only time actually last week, though. It was the Hornets getting the sweep, led by Cyrus Felton's 12 kills, Aiden Liddell's 29 assists. Among the best matches this week is the Syracuse Manoa facing Chittenango. We'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the Spartans looking to improve an impressive 7-3 record it has accumulated this season without, the usual growing pains a varsity program would go through after starting all that modified at JV level. So great job. What happened?
Yes, 3 wins this week, right, including the feat of Chittenango last night to keep going. And I think they have 3 more matches next week. So they're making sure they get every possible match they can this season. And I'm really looking forward to the Liverpool and CNS rematch because, like I said, CNS has not gotten close. No one's ever gotten close to CNS, but Liverpool was able to get a spin off of them when they first met a few weeks ago. Liverpool's won every match since, except for one to FM, I suppose. But again, the job that Fred Trezzini has done building the Liverpool program from the point where winning matches a few years ago, maybe giving CBS something to worry about, not only works for this season, but could carry over for the Warriors into next season, which is only about 5 months away.
All right, let's talk swimming. CBA and Fayetteville Manus girls swim teams earned victories over Liverpool, who was 5-0 before those meets. It all but guaranteed the head-to-head clash between the Brothers and Hornets on the 22nd to close out the season, and might determine actually who was Onondaga County's best team in this altered season. Before that, though, CBA would get to take on Mexico early next week in a spotlight for many of the area's top individuals, whether it was Kayla Newman, Lauren Kelly for the Brothers, or Alexa Van Holtz for the Tigers, who in a meet last week against Oswego put up the quickest Section 3 times of the season in two different events, the 200 individual medley and the 100 butterfly.
Yeah, Mexico managed to keep themselves undefeated on Tuesday. Very close in that meet, 93-92 over Skinny Atlas. They had to ultimately finish second in the 400 freestyle relay in order to hang on against the Lakers team, which, of course, has Spalding, one of the best swimmers in the area, who has put some of the fastest times this season in many different events, including the 100 freestyle and 200 freestyle, where she's swum as fast as 155. Also, though, CNS has also had a nice season. The North Stars lost their first 2 meets this season, but then won their next 6 before a close defeat to Skinny Atlas on Thursday. But everyone's looking forward to next week to seeing how FM, with their deep lineup, handles the CBA lineup, which features 2 or 3 of the best swimmers in the area, like Kayla Newman and Lauren Kelly. And also the battle with Mexico to see Van Holtz and how she lines up against some of these CBA swimmers and what races she'll compete in, because you can only compete in up to 4 races in a single meet. So really exciting finish to the season next week.
All right, real quick, Phil. They are also releasing many of the boys and girls basketball Section 3 All-Star selections at this point on the boys' side. Each class got a player of the year, and the choices were, why don't you go through the list? I've got it right in front of me. Do you have it in front of you, or do you want me to do it? Or
you got it. I mean,
all right, well, let's talk about
some of them.
Well, from West Jenny, who do we have?
It was
Adam.
Brzezinski.
That's right.
Brzezinski, of course. Brzezinski was terrific for a West Tennessee team that lost just 1 game this season. I wanted to mention Class A.
Well, I can go through it. So we got Cortland's Noah Armstrong.
Yeah, great job for a Purple Tigers team that had a solid season. Dylan Ernst from Class B for Holland Patent. I like that they chose players from teams that you might not have thought of immediately in terms of being the strongest teams all season, but they were great individual performances. Josh O'Connor, great player at Weedsport, a holdover from the sectional championship team of 2019, and he had another fantastic year for a team that only lost a couple of games. And Aiden Reptos, who set every record possible at Safe Heritage, was the Class C choice. And I love that they chose Coaches of the Year. Large-scale Sean Broderick, we've talked to him. What a job he's done at Fulton. They came within an inch of an undefeated season there for a program that had been down. And Tony Evan Dando, who's done a great job for a long time with the Black Knights, as they went 12-1 this season, was the small school Coach of the Year.
All right, those same honors were made in girls basketball. New Hartford's Kaya Henderson beat out Bishop Glen's Amara Strife for Class A Player of the Year, just as Henderson announced that she would attend Ohio State in the fall of 2022. After her senior year, where she intends to go after the Section 3 all-time scoring record. West Genesee's Katie Cunningham, Class AA South Jess Jackie Paddock, Class C Weedsport Susie Nemick, and Madison's Marilyn Coleman, Class D, were also Player of the Year choices. If you want to elaborate on the girls, Phil, go ahead.
Wanted to mention it was Jackie Paddock in Class B. That was my mistake. But obviously, Jackie Paddock is an incredible player. Still has 1 year left at South Jefferson. He's trying to add to the 2 sectional titles she's already won. Cunningham helped carry a West Tennessee team that had obviously lost some people to the seniors, and she had some big numbers for them this year. You could make an argument for Nottingham's Williams as well, I would think also. But Nemick, obvious choice for an undefeated Weedsport team, and Coleman, a great choice for an undefeated Madison team. And Coaches of the Year, Randy Wright. What a job he did at Nottingham. Amaya Williams was a star at Nottingham, but Randy Wright did a great coaching job there. And Dominic Anthony, what a performance from Mexico. A perfect 10-0 record, 9 of those wins by double digits, great defense, and without a superstar. Well, Mexico was incredible.
I know. All right, let's keep going. We got a couple more left here on Phil's Top 10. It was only for a brief moment the 2 Section 3 players who led their respective teams to state Class AA championships. Liverpool's Charles Pride and West Jenny's Luke Sutherland were teammates at Bryant University in Rhode Island, while Pride nearly carried the Bulldogs to a Northeast Conference title, the first ever NCAA tournament bid. Sutherland was a reserve, and now Sutherland has decided to transfer, and he's coming back to Q specifically to attend LeMoyne and play for the Dolphins. This marks the second time in the last few weeks the local Stars decided to return to Central New York as a college transfer. Syracuse Academy of Science, Samira Torrance, having done the same after SU following a stint at Marquette. So we talked about that last week. And Phil, let's talk about the... Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, about Sutherland, I mean, it's interesting that he's going to get a chance. I think a lot of people who transfer from Division I schools end up going to other Division I schools. But in the case of Sutherland, I would believe that he's going to come to LeMoyne and he's going to make a big impact, and he's going to have a big numbers for the Dolphins. I think so, for sure. And we even mentioned Jimmy Boeheim announcing yesterday that he's going to join his brother and dad. That's just perfect for the 1 year at SU. I mean, yeah, that too. Remember that Jimmy, just like Buddy, was a star at Teamsville DeWitt before he went to Cornell. So both of them. I mean, my guys are coming home, and that's great to see.
Couldn't be any sweeter. And this Monday begins the spring sports season, 13 long months after COVID-19 pandemic closed schools and wiped out an entire season. Lacrosse, baseball, and softball players, along with track athletes, tennis players, and girls golfers, we finally get the chance to compete again. We got some warm days ahead, and it's going to be nice, Phil.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you think everyone's eager to go. You think they saw all those times in April when we had 80-degree days and 75-degree days, and like, you know what? The fields would be dry. We'd be out there. We would be in the middle of our seasons already. We wouldn't have to go anywhere. So hopefully the weather can hold up enough that they can get going, and they don't have to wait for rain. They don't have to wait for fields to dry, and they can get right into a season. I've seen some of the schedules. And, for example, Baldwinsville baseball, we were talking to Dave Penafeather earlier. I think they have like 16 games scheduled this season. 3 games against each of the league teams plus some others. I can't blame them for wanting to play as much as possible. They didn't have a season last year, so they should hopefully get as much of an opportunity as possible, and hopefully the weather will warm up for them to play.
The great Phil Blackwell. Thanks, Phil. Always appreciate it. Talk to you next week, pal.
All right, you.
Billy Blackwell. We'll be right back. We're going to be talking. We've got our SummitCars.com spotlight interview. Members of the CBA Academy Girls Swim Team and their coach, Liz Tucker. Aflac Insurance, Inside High School Sports Show, ESPN Radio 97.7 and 100.1.
This is the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, highlighting all of Section 3, interviewing the greatest local coaches and athletes. Brought to you by SummitCars.com, broadcasting in the ESPN studios. Here's your host, Mike Bristol, and Eagle Newspapers' Phil Blackwell.
All right, here we are back on the program, and got to go through Phil's top 10 like we do each and every week. And as I mentioned here, we're got our SummitCars.com spotlight interview, members of CBA Academy Girls Swim Team. We're also going to talk to the coach, Liz Tucker. So we're going to go right through. We're going to talk to Kayla Newman here first on the program and get her locked in. Kayla, how are you?
I am doing well. How are you?
It's good to have you on the program. So I guess regardless of whether it's fall or spring or whatever, the CBA girls swim team continues to thrive here. Talk about having such a great season, how you girls continue to always be competitive.
I would like to start off with saying that our season has been really hard on us because with us not having a pool in the beginning of the season and not knowing if we would even have one. But I would like to say a huge thank you to the Syracuse City School District for allowing us to use their pool for this season.
Well, that's nice to have, right? So talk about, you look at the pandemic that started last March. Did you have any idea that it would take more than 12 months before you could compete again?
I did not know how long it would be until I could compete again.
Boy, oh boy. And then talk about you and the girls bonding together and just the hard work you put in.
I'd really say that it did take about a week for us to really get back into the swim zone and kind of get back to okay, this is our season. We're going to have to do everything that we can to stay undefeated like we did last year.
All right. Kayla, you're just a sophomore. Great as you are in distance races like the 500 freestyle, how much more can you still improve? What do you still need to do?
I really think that I'm going to be able to break 5 minutes this season.
Nice. And how exciting would that be?
Very exciting.
Well, obviously, it's great having you on. I'm going to get to the rest of the girls. So thanks, Kayla, for popping on. I'm going to talk to, I think it's Lauren and Kelly and Darian here right now.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Great job, Kayla. So Kayla Newman on the program, and nice job. All right, so now we've got, is it Lauren, Kelly, and Darian, right?
Yeah.
What's up, girls? Well, Lauren, let's go to you first. And, talk about the season again, being so competitive, but finally, after 12 months, being able to compete.
So I would definitely start out saying that I think we've been able to stay competitive because our team bonding has been pretty great this year. I think that in previous years, we've kind of gone into season and we've gone straight into training, not really worrying about anything else besides being ready for meets, being ready to swim fast. And this year kind of put us in a different position where it became a little bit more important to bond with our team versus swim super fast all the time.
Definitely.
So I think that has definitely allowed us to come together and be a team, be one versus kind of separate. And I think that allowed us to be a bit more competitive throughout the section.
Darian, and that's a great answer, Lauren. Darian, let's go to you for a second. Lauren, you can kind of talk about this too in a minute, but Darian at first. As a senior, what kind of tone did you set for the rest of the team throughout this extended off season?
Going into it as a senior this year, it sort of changed my entire perspective on the season. Because in past years, it was very high stress, we want to perform well, we want to do well for those older than us. And now we're sitting in that position, and we're in the middle of a season that we honestly didn't even think that we would be able to have. So it sort of turned the tables where in the past where we would have just focused on being fast, it was like, okay, we want to take our time and enjoy this. And I think that as a team, that's really allowed us to swim really well because, none of us really knew what to expect going into this. We had been training as much as we could, but, it wasn't like we normally had been doing going into our varsity season. So it was like, let's go into this with a good attitude. Let's have fun every single meet and try to enjoy being with each other because this is what we have left.
Boy, oh boy.
And, just got to do the most,
No question. Kelly, from a team standpoint, how important was it to have swimmers like Ella as a freshman and Jenna as an eighth grader to emerge?
Oh, yeah, that's, extremely important, especially since, all of the seniors have been on the team for 6 years. So we've kind of seen people, come in and come out, and all the girls are super important on the team. Everyone plays a huge role. But having those younger girls step up and, not, crack under pressure, anything like that, it's been a huge, I'd say help. They've been doing a great job, and we're really proud of them.
So,
I'm so proud of them.
No question. And terrific job. Look at Mexico, though, and when you face the team like that, any of you girls get to face Alexa Van Holtz, and who holds so many of those Mexico records?
Yeah, I ever since Alexa came into the scene of Section 30 when she was a seventh grader, she's an amazing swimmer, hands down, always has been, and she's always been a great competitor with me, and I am so fortunate to have had her because she pushed me. I hope I pushed her. I've always loved swimming against her. So going up against them, it's a mental thing because you have this intimidating, skilled swimmer, but it's also so much fun because you really get to see people be like, okay, this is when I have to stand up. This is when I have to work hard. And I think these meets are the meets where teams really come together and they really perform well. And they're the best meets to be at because you just, not only do you have that sense of competitiveness and you want to win, but you also really grow in a sense of family where you want to see people when you cry when somebody touches somebody out at the end of a race. There's nothing like those meets.
We're our SummitCars.com spotlight interview members of Christian Brothers Academy Girls Swim Team. And we're talking to Lauren, Kelly, and Darren. Darren, real quick, and actually all three of you guys can answer this question, I guess, however you want to go in order, but you look at ultimately state championships are set to return in 2021. How many swimmers could end up at the state meet here in November on your team? And whoever wants to take it first. Kelly, why don't you go first?
Yeah, you go. I think there's definitely a lot of potential. Because the season was so short, I think that over the summer when the girls train a little bit more and they're ready to go into a real season, I feel like this has kind of been shortened. It's different. It's hard to kind of adjust to. So once our girls get training and they do really well in the summer, I think that there's potential for maybe a relay and some individuals in November.
Darren, real quick to you, how hard do you girls train?
We train hard. Our training, it depends on sort of the time of year, like where we come in, who we're working with. We do our best to get what we can done in the time we're given, and the space we're given. It comes down to a matter like who you're working with, like what their philosophy is on swimming. Because I've had tons of coaches who have so many different takes on how to train a swimmer. So, like some of them, it might be more of a mental practice. Others, it might be you're going to swim 6,000 yards and I'm going to kill you, but it'll work in the end. Right. So, it sort of depends on the times of the year, but I say in general, we work really hard for what we can do.
Right,
and I'm proud of what we've done.
Who did I miss? Kelly? Did I get to Kelly for a third, or did I talk to Kelly? Can't remember.
You talked to me already.
All right, how about, so who am I missing? Darian or Lauren? Anybody?
I'm one person. I'm Lauren Kelly. you just talked to me. You just asked me that. So.
That is so funny. So my producer has on the board Lauren, Kelly, and Darian, and that's right, Lauren Kelly. That's hilarious. Lauren, see now, Lauren, you can go around school and just be like, "Hey, I'm Lauren and I'm Kelly. Whatever you want."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my mom's name is actually Kelly, so that's really funny.
Kelly, that's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. All right, girls, you did an incredible job. I love having both of you on the program. Thanks so much. And obviously, continued success. Terrific job.
Thank you.
I've got to talk to Anna now. What do I need to know about Anna?
Yeah.
Can I rip on Anna about anything? What should I say? Nothing. Wow, you guys got nothing for me. Come on, girls.
Well, her name's Anna. I can tell you that.
All right, good.
Anna. Yeah, it's a weird. Yeah, people never get it. Yeah, it's funny. That's like a running joke. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to call her Anna then, and then I'll say Anna. All right, girls, thanks so much.
Okay.
We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you for having us.
Great job. CBA Girls Swimming doing their thing, doing an incredible job. All right, I was told to call you Anna, but I know it's Anna. So what's up, Anna?
It is Anna. Thank you. I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Well, it's good to have you on the program. We'll finish things up with you. And
thank you.
Well, let's talk about this. There's Fayetteville Manlius. Points-wise, How do you make sure you guys match that depth that the Hornets line up each and every season?
FF is always that one meet that we're all so excited for, and I think it's honestly just, putting the work in at practice, really making sure we're getting everything in, doing what our coach is telling us, and you know what, in the end, win or lose, FM is always such a fun meet. I think lots of the CBA girls are friends with all the FM girls, so regardless of how it always ends out, it's always a fun meet, and it's always good to push ourselves. I feel like both of our teams are continually pushing ourselves, and in the end, that's just making both of our teams faster. Anna,
every win obviously is important, but you start things out, you guys beat JD. It's got to give you that jolt of confidence and feeling good to start the season.
Oh, of course, especially because we didn't even know that, the season was going to happen. It was very uncertain, and I think just that uncertainty about the season made everything a lot more worthwhile and cherished. So coming in with that JD win just definitely set the tone for the season, and it made us all just really excited and ready, and it kind of set our little undefeated tone that we have going on.
Tell me a little bit about your coach, Liz Tucker, and her coaching style.
Yeah, Liz is a great coach. I've actually known Liz since I was maybe about 12 years old, so it's been a long time. I think Liz, she always knows what she's doing. She always has a plan going on, and it's great to see that she can coach a range of, swimmers. It's not just some really amazing swimmers. She can coach little 7th graders who have never, gotten in a pool before. And, it's just amazing to have a lasting relationship with her, and you can totally see the change that she makes in swimmers.
All right, what is the goal for the season here for you girls?
I think we kind of have two goals, and they're intertwined, but undefeated has always been a word that we're throwing around this season, and we would like to try to stay to that, but also just to have fun, because once again, this season was so uncertain for us, and we really want to make it worthwhile, and we're thankful for it and make it lasting. So we would like to be undefeated and have fun at the same time. Well,
terrific job, and your AD, Buddy Waklinski, a great guy, as well as his assistant coach, Eddie Leone. I love those guys from CBA. And girls, terrific job. Great job. Anna, incredible. We'll talk to you soon, and thanks for being on the program.
Thanks. Have a great day.
All right, CBA Swimming here. We'll be right back. And when we get back, we're going to talk with Dave Penafeather, get into some baseball, talk a little bit of golf, and finish things up with our good buddy Paul Brown. ESPN Radio 97.7, 100.1.
This is the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, highlighting all of Section 3, interviewing the greatest local coaches and athletes. Brought to you by SummitCars.com, broadcasting in the ESPN studios. Here's your host, Mike Bristol, and Eagle Newspapers' Phil Blackwell.
All right, here we are back on our Aflac Spotlight interview. Baldwin's baseball coach, Dave Penafeather. Coach, you there?
Yes, I am.
Well, what's happening? How are you?
Nothing. I appreciate you guys having me on. Just, the sun is out a little bit, so, we got through the last 2 days, so hopefully we start to get back to some weather like last week that we had at the end of the week.
Wasn't that gorgeous?
It's unbelievable. It really is.
All right, this Monday, 22-plus months since they last took the field. Let's talk about it. You got to be excited for the 2021 season starting here, and like you said, getting some baseball weather, but 22 months off. Nice to be back.
It is nice to be back, and I think, like every season, this school year, everybody's excited, and I think this is, we were talking about it the other day, actually. Coach Wilcox, who's a lacrosse coach, varsity coach, him and I teach together, so, obviously it's been a long year that we had. Both of us had really good clubs that we thought last year, and, both of us returned some players, but it's going to be a brand new year, and I think the excitement, not only in Baldwinsville, but throughout Central New York is pretty high.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, just for fairness' sake, how much of this season is for the 2020 senior class that never got a chance to go after a championship, and who were some of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, especially with what we had last year. It was going to be, we would have had a ton of depth, a mostly junior, senior group last year because we have a large senior class this year, probably the most depth I've ever had in my coaching career at Baldwinsville. Wow. And it was a close group too, so I think we'll always, and we talk about it, we'll remember those guys, and we're hoping to, get a few of them or get all of them out at some point this year, depending on the regulations and stuff, and we'd like to, try and honor them. But I think when we take the field, especially for that first game, we will think of them, and then we got to put those thoughts away and play our game.
Yeah, no question about it. Talk about current roster, some of the everyday players, the pitchers, who we're going to see, who we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, we've got a couple lefties. We got a lot more lefties again than I think Coach Bader. I was talking to him the other day too. More lefties than we've ever had. But we've got two right off the bat, two seniors, two starters for us. He was actually a member on a sophomore year in 19, so he got a little bit of taste of varsity baseball. He's back. He'll be starting for us. We got another kid, Luke Arventites, who actually is going to Niagara University. He's a little left-handed specialist, so he'll be another one of our starters. And we've got some other guys that are kind of contending for that third and, sometimes fourth starter we're going to need, especially with the weather and things like that come up. But we've got a little bit of depth in pitching. Nothing like Jason Savacool. And we always say when we lose,
right.
Special players that we can't replace them with one person, but we can replace them with two or three. And I think that's what we have this year, and that's what we're going to compete with. You
bring up Jason, I guess, over the next few years. Where does he need to improve in order to give him a chance to get into the major leagues?
I think he's on track. I don't know where they rank. I mean, there's so many different rankings. I think they're ranking T-ball kids this day and age. But, he's definitely high up in the rank, when he becomes eligible his junior year. But, knowing Jason, he doesn't think about those things. And I think every day is just another day to improve. I know the situation in Maryland since day one has been a really good situation, and it continues to be that. I know his last two starts haven't been what he's wanted, but again, that's college baseball, and like many people have said, Division I baseball this year is the competition is higher than ever because. We didn't have the large draft that we usually have, so you have a lot of those players that are back. And I know, his dad and mom have seen a lot most of his games, or if not all of them. I know Dad flew out last week to Nebraska. I know they're down this weekend because they got a home series against Ohio State.
Right. No, it's great.
So it's good for them. And, obviously I have a close relationship with the family and his father. And, we talk, if not daily, every other day. So it's been fun. It's a journey. So, again, he's on track to get there. And, but I know that he's looking at his next start and his next start only.
All right, real quick, I'm going to let you finish up on this last piece. You got the season, you got this roll of kids. What do you expect from this particular season this year?
To me, I think it's going to be normal as possible. But then I also know that, I did get to coach a little bit in the summer. Saw the kids compete against some of the teams that we'll be competing against, but nobody had their full roster. We always look ahead, look at our rosters, even down at the modified. 3-4 years ago, these kids were in our modified program, but we knew we had a good batch of kids that were really competitive with some depth, that have played extra baseball and can compete. And we knew that this would be another year that we could contend. But we know we got to play one pitch at a time. And, it's going to be the first time that we hit the field all together on Monday. We've been doing things sporadically. But Monday, they'll all come together. We'll have a couple days of tryouts. And then, we've got to get ready for a game May 1st versus West Genesee. And that's kind of become a rival of ours over the last few years. And, I know Coach Krause is going to have his kids ready to go. So that's kind of our mind frame. And, we're not going to look ahead. We're not going to look ahead to sectionals. We're going to look at, each game and not take it for granted. I think that's one thing the kids have learned, especially in athletics.
All right. I love it. Great job, Dave. Obviously great having you on. Like to get you on each year here and talk a little baseball and,
I appreciate it. I appreciate everything. Yeah, I appreciate everything you guys do with high school baseball, and not just high school baseball, but high school sports. Because I talk to some coaching friends and people that I know in other spots, and I don't think they have what we have. So I feel very fortunate and very appreciative of what you guys do.
It's all ESPN radio, and it's all Phil Blackwell. So
awesome.
Good combo. All right, thanks, Coach. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
Awesome. All right, thank you. Take care.
Coach Penafeather in the program. And when we get back, we're going to talk to Erin Engelhardt, LeMoyne College Athletic Association, also Paul Brown, Nagle Athletic Turf and Sports Services. ESPN Radio 97.7 and 100.1.
This is the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, highlighting all of Section 3, interviewing the greatest local coaches and athletes. Brought to you by SummitCars.com, broadcasting in the ESPN studios. Here's your host, Mike Bristol, and Eagle Newspapers, Phil Blackwell.
All right, Erin Engelhardt, welcome to the program, LeMoyne College Dolphin Athletic Association. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on the show, Mike.
Good to have you on. Love that you're with LeMoyne, such a great school and a great athletic department. Tell me a little bit about it. So for connecting back 20 years here, tell us about college days, playing lacrosse for the Dolphins. Your history there. Nice history.
Well, my history there, I was so lucky. I grew up around here. I went to ESM. I started my collegiate career at UConn, but I transferred to LeMoyne, and I absolutely loved my experience as a Dolphin, and it's just a wonderful school. So many local kids there, so I absolutely loved it, and I'm so happy I can give back by serving in this position on the Dolphin Athletic Association now.
And tell us about the activities of the association.
We do a lot of fundraising for the school, and in the summer, we're really excited. We have 3 golf tournaments this summer. We were able to pull 2 of them off last year, which was sort of a miracle with COVID. Right. So it's just a great opportunity for people to get back together again in a safe way outdoors and to enjoy each other's company, play some good golf or terrible golf if you're me, and give back to LeMoyne. Now
in regards to the golf event, 19 Tuscarora good friends over there at Tuscarora, and Nick and the whole crew over there. Talk about picking Tuscarora and tell us a little bit about the event.
Well, Tuscarora is a beautiful course. There'll be our 6th annual Corporate Partners Golf Tournament there, Monday, July 19th. A great way for us to, really thank our corporate partners. If you're interested in being a corporate partner with LeMoyne, please reach out. It's a great way for our local businesses to be involved and showcase who they are.
Yeah, give that information too right now.
Yeah. So again, you can find all our information on LeMoyneDolphins.com, the Dolphin Athletic Association Golf Tournaments tab. But we're playing at Tuscarora. 12:30 shotgun start on Monday, July 19th.
Beautiful.
And I promise beautiful weather.
Yeah, I love it. I love that you do that. How much excitement is there, LeMoyne, here? Both lacrosse teams making the national championship pushes after missing 2020.
Absolutely. We're thrilled. Both lacrosse teams are undefeated right now. Big games today. I know the women's team is down at Adelphi. That's a great rival, and they've already beat them once this season. So I love watching the teams. They finally are able to get some fans back in. I think 2 per player, so I think the families and supporters are really thrilled to be back on the Heights and watch some great sports. I was just listening to your last interview. I know we've got a Baldwinsville alum who's on the baseball team. They've had a great start as well. Men's tennis is undefeated, so they've just had a really great spring after a really tough year.
Well, Erin, great to have you on. Terrific job, and looking forward to the golf tournament and all you do at LeMoyne.
Thanks so much, Mike. Have a great day.
Good to have you on. Erin Engelhardt on the program. We'll be right back. ESPN Radio 97.7 100.1.
This is the Aflac Insurance Inside High School Sports Show, brought to you by SummitCars.com.
Paulie Brown, great to have you on. What's going on?
Not too much. How you been, Mike?
I think I need to start calling you Mr. AstroTurf. Would that be a good fitting name?
That would work.
So, tell me about, first of all, the regional commitment, but over 60 employees. You've got this warehouse. You're connected. You got all these trucks. You guys are huge, and you're doing these amazing jobs. Just talk about the size of this company and all that you're able to do.
Yeah, so basically, the AstroTurf Corporation made the commitment to Syracuse, New York as the Northeast hub. And all of our track crews, tennis crews, and turf crews are based right here out of Syracuse. Guys from all over the state come to work here out of our main headquarters there on Joy Road in East Syracuse. And we're providing the work, all over the Northeast. And also, sometimes we have to help out other regions, and we do send crews down to Texas and Kansas and California and Washington, because the reason that they wanted that Nagle Athletic aspect was the direct installation of the tracks and the courts, and now also being able to add the turf aspect to it as well.
Well, what I think is awesome. So obviously playing sports, and then you go on and I was fortunate enough to play some basketball too, but I played soccer, played baseball. I remember going up and always working on the field. You'd have to sit there, I played shortstop, and you'd have to clean the field and work on the field. You did that with your team, even in high school. And then I go and I look at these facilities and these things that you guys are doing, these soccer fields, lacrosse fields, these baseball fields, these softball fields. They are unbelievable. I mean, the quality for high school athletics, junior athletics, modified sports, whatever it is that you're providing is just mind-blowing.
Yeah, and we have an application for any sport, any activity, and that's the beauty of it is, providing high-quality, safe playing surfaces for youth, adult leagues, collegiate, all the way up to professional level. And also the whole, idea of mimicking the natural grass, which, is the big safety portion of it. But the benefit is the number of events that are able to be held. And the turnaround time for a maintenance crew it's very low.
Well, how do you not have turf if you live here? I mean, between snow, weather, rain, fall, this, that. I mean, I was watching a guy the other day snow plow. I mean, it's just the other day. It was a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, snow plowing the field. And all of a sudden now the kids are out there playing and it's no problem. So yep, I just think it's incredible.
Yep, it is, and it's a huge benefit, especially for our local area. I mean, to be able to have surfaces that the kids can go out and practice on and play on in the early months of spring it's huge for everybody, because right now there's a big crush. Everybody's trying to figure out where can we get field time, where can we do. There's just not enough places that. When it's all natural grass, the field's too wet, it's too muddy, it's covered in snow. So the synthetic turf, it really does. It allows you to have much more time on the field prior to your season starting. Instead of playing baseball in the gymnasium, right, or lacrosse in a parking lot that's asphalt, you're actually on a field, and you're preparing the way you should properly be preparing for the sport that you're about to play. So there's just tons of advantages to it.
How can people actually look at it and see the product, and where do they go and what do they do?
So actually, if they go right to astroturf.com, there's field configurators that people can get on, and they can actually, you can upload your team logo, your design. You can do different colors for the end zones, different colors for the field, alternating panels. I mean, it's incredible. And we encourage everybody to, who's in a position of thinking of doing something, to go there and on the site and do that, and really kind of, sometimes you got to think about it. You get one chance sometimes to build these unbelievable facilities. So why not make it truly unique to you and do what it is that you want and you want to promote and have it there on your field. And now you have something you can be proud of. It's great for the community. So the configurator allows you to do that and kind of get an idea of, maybe this is something we really do want to do.
We go up, my son and I, all the time during the summer. And where he goes to school, we get to go up and use the turf, all summer long whenever you want. And we're kicking the soccer ball, then we're throwing the football, then I'm throwing baseballs to him, I'm doing whatever. But it's like mind blowing, the quality and how nice it is, and then the softness. So you're not, when you're sprinting or running on it and you're stopping it or whatever, even that quality and the softness for it and the safety feature of it. It's just, like I said, it's just incredible. It's for me, because I'm such a sports guy, when you walk into a stadium and you see that quality and the performance quality and the safety piece and everything, you're excited. You're just like, this is great.
It goes back to when you were an athlete and you walked out of the tunnel or anything and you saw the field and you go, oh man, like this is it.
Yeah.
Or you walk out and you go, oh man, this is it?
Right.
Like really? So right. It really does. It does have that. It plays with your mind a little bit when you see something that's so properly maintained and it looks real, but it's bright and vibrant, and all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to get to play on this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. Yep. No, there's, we really, we're fortunate that, a lot of the schools up here in the Northeast have started to understand the value of converting natural grass into synthetic turf, just for maintenance, for the amount of hours they're allowed to be able to get on there, and for the other events that they're able to host on there. It's endless, the opportunities.
AstroTurf.com, our good friend Paul Brown. Obviously, Paul will have you on here every month or whatever it is, but I just love connecting with you guys and seeing the newest technology and being able to talk with you. So I appreciate it. And all you've done for the BAM Foundation, all that AstroTurf Corporation's been doing around the community. I
appreciate it, Mike. Look forward to continuing to work with you guys as well.
All right. Thanks, Paulie Brown on the program. Thanks, Paul.
Have a great weekend. Thanks, Mike.
All right. ESPN Radio 97.7, 100.1.